Well, let's stay then with some of the recovery operations that are currently underway. City of Cape Town Disaster Management Centre's Sonica Lategan joins us tonight. Sonica, good evening to you. Of course, quite concerning there that there are so many areas that have been hit by the storm but have not yet been able to receive assistance. How are you as the city navigating that? And if you can talk us through how are you triaging the areas to sort of deal with those that are most pressing and then work your way down?
Good afternoon or good evening, Kathy. Yes, you are absolutely right. We have a disaster coordinating team that has been activated as part of the Disaster Risk Management Center of the City of Cape Town. So in this team, we have all internal departments within the city as well as external departments as well. And this team makes strategic decisions in terms of prioritizing response activities. So as you also alluded to earlier, there has been numerous reports that came in of incidents across the city and many of our communities. There's about 12,000 people that has been affected. So we are dealing with that. We have our teams on the ground. We have humanitarian agencies that is assisting with relief, with soft relief measures. So we are trying to prioritize the areas that has been most affected to see that we can provide some type of humanitarian relief to them. We do appeal to the public to be to understand that we have a long list of requests and that they need to be patient with us in terms of delivering this type of services.
Look, the difficulty, I think, for many of those residents, including those that we've spoken to here in Newzroom Afrika, is that, while the appeal for patience sounds reasonable, they, of course, are having to spend the night outside because their homes are flooded and they don't actually have safe places to go where they can be sheltered.
Yes, with the declaration that has come from the executive mayor in terms of a major emergency that has been declared, we can also now expect that sheltering will be made available in terms of community halls. But we also know that many of these people, they prefer to go to friends and family. Some of our churches has been opened over the weekend also to assist in accommodating these communities that has been affected. And we have opened a community hall over the weekend as well in the Saloris Pass area. So with this declaration, we might be able to assist in terms of sheltering as well.
What level of coordination would you say is currently in place? You might not have enough officials to be in every single area that has been affected, but imagining that there should be a way for U.S. disaster management to, at the very least, get a sense of what's happening in all of the communities that have been affected.
Yes, we have disaster risk management officials in all of the wards within the city, and they go out to do assessments, and they are accompanied by other internal departments as well. But it's not just the internal departments that forms part of this disaster coordinating team. It's also external departments, which is inclusive of your SANDF, your NSRI, your search and rescue teams, your government departments as well. We have the Provincial Disaster Management Center as well that is assisting us with in terms of guidance and any type of assistance that we need from them. SASSA is also assisting. So we have a lot of role players that is coming to the party to assist in terms of providing response and relief to the affected communities. We have our internal departments, which consist of roads and infrastructure, solid waste departments, water and sanitation, and recreation and parks. So we are busy with mopping up operations at the moment. Our safety and security teams are also on the ground. We have drone technology, which can also assist in planning in terms of where the need is for us to prioritize with sending out our teams to these affected areas. And then we also have our humanitarian partners. So the capacity that we have in terms of attending to this emergency is we have quite a few role players that is assisting.
Would you say that they are? Sorry to come in there, Sonica. Would you say that there are areas that you have not been able to assess yet, that your teams have not been able to get access to?
Yes, our teams have started on Saturday already to start with assessments when the rain started on Sunday as well, throughout yesterday as well, and today as well. So we are doing the best that we can to get to these communities. Some of the communities are cut off, like we've heard during this afternoon, that the Sunflower community has been cut off because of a bridge that has collapsed. So we are trying to get to them, to assist them as well. So it takes some time, and we must also remember that this has been an orange level 9 warning that went out for the city, which has never happened within the city. So this is a new thing for us, for all of us. So we are really trying our best to assist where we can.
Sonica, there has been some suggestion that the deployment by the city has focused largely on the metropolitan areas of the city that have been struck by the disaster, and that the informal areas haven't been receiving as much support as they need.
We are trying our utmost best to get to all the areas. Many of our informal settlements are located within floodplains and in wetland areas. So with the last rains that we have received, many of these areas are still waterlogged, so which also makes it difficult for our teams to go in with this specialized equipment, because the type of relief that they need in those areas are with regards to the specialized equipment to remove sand, to remove debris, and to pump water. But because the areas are so waterlogged, with the new rains that has fallen, it just it just builds onto what is already there. The areas is saturated, so it is difficult to go in there at the moment, but we're trying our utmost best, as I said.
So then what does that mean for the people in those areas, right? Because they equally need assistance. In some instances, they equally need to be rescued from those dangerous water levels.
Yes. Our search and rescue teams, our fire services teams, all our city departments are out there to try and assist these teams. But we appeal to the public also to, where they are displaced, where their houses are filling up with water, if they can try to get shelter with family and friends. We know that many of these people do not want to leave their houses, although the call is made for them to try and evacuate their houses. Many of them do not want to leave because of the fear of being robbed and not
So
the safety of
here's my concern, right? Especially when it comes to the informal areas, because you confirm sort of the sentiment that has been shared by some in some of the informal areas, that they haven't been receiving as much assistance as they need. You've confirmed that it's been difficult for your officials to actually access some of these areas. So what does that mean? Does that mean that in the last 24 hours there hasn't been any assistance that has been sent to these areas? Because it's difficult to say to people, well, try and get shelter with your family, if people aren't even able to leave the area that they're in, and officials at this point are also not able to gain access to those areas.
So at the moment, it is the Macassar area, the Sunflower area, that has been cut off because of the bridge that has collapsed. But with other informal settlement areas, our officials did go out. The problem is that there are so many people that has been affected. So the list is long in terms of where relief needs to go to. And I'm specifically talking about humanitarian relief. So our humanitarian partners, they do have the list of areas that they need to go out to and provide blankets, provide food, provide hot foods to the people, and clothes to the people. So the appeal that I made earlier on in terms of being patient, I still want to make that appeal, but I can also assure you that with the declaration of the major emergency that the mayor has made, additional resources will be made available so that we can reach those people faster than what is possible at the moment.
What's the current death toll that you're looking at as disaster management?
We have had 11 deaths in the city that we know of. 8 people has been electrocuted because of a combination of water and live wires. And then also 3 people has succumbed to their injuries as a result of a bus accident.
Let's talk about the state of electricity and how that's affecting your ability to respond to this disaster. We know you've been spared from load shedding. Is that helping?
Yes, definitely it helps because our electrical technicians can go out to try and restore many of the areas that has been without electricity. But the severe weather has really impacted a lot on our communities across the city where they have been dealing with power outages. Since yesterday, when the rain started to subside, it was easier for them to enter into the areas, and hence also why load shedding has been stopped for the city of Cape Town, so that it's safer for them to attend to this problem. So they are still in the process of assisting these communities. We know that some of the communities are still without power, but our teams are out there, and Eskom is also assisting to restore the power.
City of Cape Town Disaster Management Centre's Sonica Lategan will leave it there for tonight.